Can you kiss me? He's here. The amber glow of pendant lights cast warm shadows across the upscale bar as Elena Martinez clutched her martini glass, her knuckles white against the stem. She'd spent the last 15 minutes scanning the crowd, desperately hoping Marcus wouldn't show up. Her ex had been texting her all week about talking things through, but she knew better. Marcus didn't do closure. He did manipulation wrapped in expensive cologne and hollow promises, and now he was here. She spotted him near the entrance, his eyes sweeping the room with that predatory confidence she'd once mistaken for charm. Her heart hammered against her ribs. The back exit was too far, and ducking into the bathroom would only delay the inevitable confrontation. Then she saw him, the man sitting alone at the bar, 2 seats away. He was striking in that effortlessly polished way that suggested old money and good breeding. Dark hair perfectly styled, sharp jawline, broad shoulders filling out a charcoal suit that probably cost more than her monthly rent. He nursed a whiskey, his attention fixed on his phone with the kind of focus that suggested he was actually working, not just scrolling. Elena didn't think, she acted. "Excuse me," she said, sliding onto the stool beside him. "I know this is going to sound absolutely insane, but I need your help." The man looked up, and Elena's breath caught. His eyes were a startling shade of steel blue, intelligent and assessing. A slight furrow appeared between his brows as he studied her, not with irritation, but with genuine curiosity. "I'm listening," he said. His voice was deep, controlled, with a hint of amusement playing at the corners of his mouth. "There's a guy who just walked in. Don't look," she added quickly as his gaze started to drift. "He's my ex. He won't take no for an answer, and if he sees me alone, he's going to come over here and make a scene." The stranger's expression shifted, something darker flickering in his eyes. "I see. And what exactly are you proposing?" Elena felt heat crawl up her neck. This was mortifying, but Marcus was getting closer. She could feel it. "I need you to pretend we're together, just for a few minutes until he leaves." "Pretend," he repeated, his tone unreadable. "Yes. Like we're on a date or something. Maybe you could—" She hesitated, her courage faltering. "Could what?" He leaned slightly closer, and Elena caught the scent of his cologne, something woodsy and expensive that made her pulse quicken for entirely different reasons than her panic over Marcus. "Could you kiss me?" The words tumbled out in a rush. "He's here. He's walking this way. Please, I just need him to see that I've moved on." For a moment, the stranger said nothing. His gaze held hers, and Elena saw something calculating in those blue eyes, as if he were weighing variables in an equation only he could see. Then, smoothly, he set down his phone and turned to face her fully. "What's your name?" he asked. "Elena." "Well, Elena," he said, reaching up to brush a strand of hair from her face with unexpected gentleness, "if we're going to sell this, we should probably make it convincing." Before she could respond, his hand cupped her jaw, his thumb tracing her cheekbone. The touch sent electricity skittering across her skin. She barely had time to process the sensation before he leaned in. The kiss started soft, almost questioning, his lips warm and surprisingly tender against hers. But when Elena's hands instinctively came up to rest against his chest, feeling the solid muscle beneath expensive fabric, something shifted. The kiss deepened, his other hand sliding to the small of her back, drawing her closer. Elena forgot about Marcus, forgot about the bar. Forgot about everything except the intoxicating sensation of this stranger's mouth on hers. When they finally broke apart, both slightly breathless, Elena's mind was spinning. That was supposed to be fake, a performance. But nothing about the way her body was humming felt remotely like acting. "Is he still here?" she whispered, not quite trusting her voice. The stranger glanced past her shoulder, his expression neutral. Dark blue shirt, receding hairline, currently looking like someone kicked his dog. "That's him. He's leaving." The man's attention returned to her, and Elena saw amusement dancing in his eyes, though he looked rather unhappy about it. Relief flooded through her, followed immediately by awkwardness. "Thank you, really. I'm so sorry to have ambushed you like that. That was completely inappropriate, and I don't apologize." He straightened, creating a professional distance between them that somehow felt like a loss. "I'm happy I could help." Elena slid off the bar stool, smoothing her dress with nervous hands. "Well, thank you again, mysterious stranger. I owe you one." "I'll keep that in mind," he said, picking up his phone again. But there was something in his tone, something that suggested he might actually remember. As Elena made her way toward the exit, her lips still tingling, she didn't notice the slight smile playing at the stranger's mouth as he watched her go. Nor did she see him pull up his phone and open a document titled New Hire Orientations, Monday Schedule. Monday morning arrived with the aggressive cheerfulness of Elena's alarm clock and the immediate regret of her Friday night martinis. She'd spent the weekend replaying that kiss in her mind, alternating between mortification at her boldness and a not entirely professional curiosity about the handsome stranger. Not that it mattered. She'd never see him again. Today marked the beginning of her new position at Thornfield Industries, one of the most prestigious tech companies in the city. After 3 rounds of interviews and countless nights of anxiety, she landed a role as a project coordinator in the innovation department. It was a dream job, the kind that could launch a career. She couldn't afford to show up distracted. Elena dressed carefully in her best. Blazer and pencil skirt, fixed her hair into a polished bun, and rehearsed her introduction in the mirror. Confident, capable, definitely not the kind of person who kissed random strangers in bars. The Thornfield building was a towering monument to modern architecture, all glass and steel reaching toward the sky. Elena's heels clicked against marble floors as she made her way to the 23rd floor, where a cheerful HR representative named Sarah greeted her. "Welcome to Thornfield. We're so excited to have you. Let me show you to your desk, and then we have orientation starting at 9. Elena followed Sarah through an open-plan office space that managed to feel both contemporary and inviting. Her desk was near a window, with a view of the city that made her heart soar. She was here. She'd made it. "Orientation is in conference room A," Sarah said. "You'll meet some of the other new hires, and then Mr. Thornfield himself usually stops by to say a few words. He likes to personally welcome people, very hands-on leadership style." "That's nice," Elena said, only half listening as she arranged her belongings. The conference room was already filling up when she arrived, a mix of young professionals who all looked equally nervous and eager. Elena took a seat near the middle, accepting a welcome packet from another HR staffer. "All right, everyone," Sarah announced from the front of the room. "Thank you for being here. We're just waiting for Mr. Thornfield, and then we'll get started." The door opened. Elena glanced up reflexively and felt her entire world tilt sideways. No, 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 no. The man who walked into the conference room, commanding attention with every step, radiating authority and confidence, was him. The stranger from the bar, the man she'd kissed, the man whose lips she'd been dreaming about for 3 days. Their eyes met across the room, and Elena watched recognition flash across his features, followed by something that might have been amusement or surprise. His stride didn't falter. If anything, he seemed more interested now, his gaze lingering on her for a heartbeat longer than professionally appropriate before he moved to the front of the room. "Good morning," he said, his voice carrying effortlessly. "I'm Adrian Thornfield, CEO of Thornfield Industries. Welcome to the team." Elena's mouth went dry. CEO. She'd kissed the CEO. She'd asked him, no, practically begged him, to kiss her, and he was her boss. Her mind raced through every terrible scenario, losing her job before she'd even started, becoming office gossip, professional humiliation. "I like to meet new employees personally," Adrian continued, seemingly unaware of Elena's internal crisis, because I believe that every person here contributes to our success. Whether you're in tech, marketing, operations, or support, your role matters. He was good at this, Elena realized through her panic. His presence was magnetic, his words genuine rather than rehearsed. People were leaning forward, engaged. She could see why he'd built such a successful company. Now, I know HR has a lot of paperwork for you today, Adrian said with a slight smile. But before I turn you over to Sarah, I wanted to emphasize one thing. At Thornfield, we value integrity, innovation, and courage. Sometimes the best decisions, the ones that lead to real breakthroughs, require taking calculated risks. His gaze found Elena's again, just for a moment, and she swore she saw a hint of that same amusement from Friday night. We also value helping each other out, he added, building a culture where people feel comfortable asking for help when they need it, even in unexpected situations. Heat flooded Elena's cheeks. Was he? No, surely he wasn't referencing Friday. That would be completely inappropriate, but the slight quirk of his lips suggested otherwise. I'll let you get started, Adrian said, turning toward the door. Sarah, they're all yours. Welcome again, everyone. He left before Elena could process what had just happened, though not before glancing back one final time, directly at her. The orientation continued, but Elena absorbed almost nothing. Her mind was a carousel of mortification and confusion. Should she say something? Pretend it never happened? Find a new job immediately? When they finally broke for lunch, Elena was seriously considering faking an illness and going home. But as she gathered her materials, Sarah approached with a smile. Elena Martinez? Mr. Thornfield would like to see you in his office. Of course he would. The executive floor was quieter, more refined. Adrian's assistant, an efficient-looking woman named Margaret, gestured toward a set of double doors. Go right in. He's expecting you. Elena's hand trembled slightly as she knocked. Come in. Adrian's office was expansive but not ostentatious, with floor-to-ceiling windows and modern furniture that suggested taste rather than excess. He stood by the window, hands in his pockets, silhouette framed by the city skyline. When he turned, his expression was unreadable. Please, sit, he said, gesturing to a chair. Elena sat, her back straight, trying to project professionalism despite feeling like she might combust from embarrassment. Mr. Thornfield, I want to apologize. For what? He moved to his desk, leaning against it rather than sitting behind it. Less formal, but somehow more intimidating. For Friday night. I had no idea who you were, and I put you in an incredibly inappropriate position. If you want my resignation, I understand. Elena. Her name on his lips did something to her equilibrium. Do you want to resign? No, she admitted. This job means everything to me. Good, because you're not being fired. He crossed his arms, studying her. What happened Friday night happened before you worked here. You asked someone for help, and I chose to help you. There's nothing inappropriate about that. You kissed me, at your request, he pointed out, to help you handle a difficult situation, which, I might add, worked perfectly. Elena searched his face for any sign of judgment or mockery, but found only calm certainty. So we just pretend it never happened. I'm not particularly good at pretending, Adrian said, and something in his tone made her pulse quicken. But I am good at maintaining professional boundaries. You're an employee, Elena. That means certain lines don't get crossed, no matter how— He paused, choosing his words carefully. Memorable a first impression might be. Right, of course. Professional boundaries. However, he continued, and she caught a glimpse of that amusement again, I meant what I said in orientation. We value people who are brave enough to ask for help when they need it. Even in bars, even from strangers. He straightened, moving back around his desk. I reviewed your file before orientation. Your qualifications are impressive. I'm looking forward to seeing what you accomplish here. It was a dismissal, polite but clear. Elena stood, feeling simultaneously relieved and oddly disappointed. Thank you, Mr. Thornfield. Adrian, he corrected. We're not very formal here. Adrian, she repeated, tasting his name. Thank you for being understanding. As she reached the door, his voice stopped her. Elena? She turned. He was smiling now, a real smile that transformed his face from merely handsome to devastating. For what it's worth, if your ex ever bothers you again, you know where to find me. Elena left his office with her heart pounding and the distinct impression that maintaining professional boundaries might prove more challenging than either of them anticipated. But as she returned to her desk, ready to begin her new job, she couldn't quite suppress her own smile. Whatever happened next, her first day at Thornfield Industries had certainly been unforgettable.